Alright, so this is going to be a tutorial on how to play the Wargame Company Commander hosted by HexWar, which is actually going to be the first wargame in the Marine Corps University Wargaming Cloud series, which is going to be taking place from September to October for this game series. So when you log into the cloud, the first thing that you're going to see is a dashboard. You're going to select HexWar, and it's going to take you to the HexWar games. It's going to load a virtual machine, and this is what the home screen is going to look like when you get in there. Basically tell you your overall ranking, how many games you played, stuff like that. The competition hasn't started yet, so I'm at 0. If you go to games, you will see the different versions of HexWar games that are available. The first one for the first 2 months is going to be Company Commander that's going to be running. And then all the way down at the bottom is Napoleon's Last Battles. I think that's going to be, or sorry, Napoleon at War. That's going to be the second game that's going to take place for the latter part of the year. So I will be playing Company Commander today to give a tutorial of that. It has a bunch of different tutorials in there. This is just going to be my own version. So I'm going to scroll all the way down, and I'm going to play 2025. So I'm playing basically like a futuristic version. It's basically United States versus China in the year 2025 with all those capabilities. Alright, so isolated 2025. And I'm going to set up a local game because I'm going to be playing against myself, basically playing a computer. If you're going to do the wargaming, there's steps to follow, but I'm assuming it's going to be a paired game and you'll play against somebody. And for the wargaming series, you'll actually play as the Chinese side and as the American side against the same person to get an even score, because the sides are not the same. So I'm going to be playing the American side. China I'm going to set up as a computer, and I'm going to play. And you can play this pretty much as many times as you want. I've played as American forces probably 5 times, and I've played as China forces probably 3 times. Different advantages and disadvantages depending on who you play. So it's a pretty intuitive game, but I think it's still worth doing a tutorial. Basically, you zoom out and you can see the entire map, and you can see the entire map just because I'm in the initial disposition phase where I'm going to lay out my troops how I want them. Once I actually lay them out and I get the game started, not all of the map will be visible to me, only what my troops can see or what my drones can see. So basically, if you just look at the entire map, you'll see little red spots right around here on the hilltops. These are basically enemy positions, and the goal of this game is to get 4 out of the 7, so basically a majority of victory points. And victory points basically are each one of these enemy held positions, each one of these flags. If I can hold a majority of them through the end of the game, which is turn 16, then I win. Or you can win by attrition, just attriting the enemy's forces, killing them to where they're not effective. So this is the map. Now I'm going to get into initial disposition, which is basically looking at my forces and laying them out wherever I want to. So this is basically all this grayed out area at the bottom. This is where I can place my forces to start. So I'm starting at the south side of the map. I'll just zoom in very quickly to show you what the forces look like. So they're just regular unit designators. You'll see, we got a jab team, we got 50 cal, we got saws, we got maws, and then we have a little drone right here. So I'm just going to lay out my forces really quick, and you'll see what the initial disposition that I'm going to start with looks like. Alright, so what you're seeing right now is my initial disposition, how I'm going to start my forces. I've broken them up. Basically, I'm going to have this group on the left-hand side. They're going to do a run up through the road. This group right here will do a push towards the first hill. This one push towards that hill, and then these ones will run up the road, heading up to the north as well. So I'm just going to briefly zoom in. I'm going to show you what it looks like to see basically the vision that your individuals can see. So if I click on a player or a piece of my team, I can actually see basically everything inside of this orange zone is what my individual can see from their position. So basically it's showing the terrain. So if I click around, I can kind of see like what the visibility is for my different areas, and this really comes into effect when you start trying to fight against the enemy, because if you can't see them, you can't shoot them, unless you have indirect fire such as 60mm mortars, which I do have on the other side, and then artillery, which you can get throughout the game, and I'll show you what that looks like when we get to there. But this is how I'm going to start my game. So I will end my deployment by clicking that in the top left, and then now you can see that I can only see what I can see, basically. So this is showing the visibility that my troops actually have. So from this initial visibility, I can see that there's enemy troops up here on this hill, and that there's no enemy troops on this hill. So the very first move that I'm going to do, just for showing you, is to take one of my drones, and as you can see, when I click on a piece, it shows me basically how far out it can move by these highlighted hexes. So a drone, it can fly pretty far out. I'm going to put it out here in the woods, and it's going to open up my field of view. So I'm going to zoom out really quickly. I'm going to show you. So I move him up, and now he's out there, and my field of view is now opened up because I have that aerial reconnaissance, essentially. So you want to be careful with your drones in this game, honestly, because your enemy can shoot them down. And when you do that, you lose a lot of visibility. The drones are really powerful as far as how far out they can see, so it is very beneficial to try and keep them around. So just by pushing out my two drones, I can now see the battlefield a lot more, and I can see that there's enemy on this hill up here, and there's some up at the intersection. So I can zoom in on the enemy, and I can actually see what these enemy are. So a MAW team and a SAW team. Basically, really quickly, the designators, right here on the right hand side, this is probably the most important one, and this is basically the life points. So if you've played a similar game like Littoral Commander, you know that there's a certain amount of life points. You hit a unit twice with 2 successful hits, this unit would be gone. It's the same thing on mine. You'll see that this C will turn to an S if I'm able to successfully suppress the enemy. And that's beneficial because if you suppress them, they can't shoot back at you at that moment, and that means you can maneuver on them without them, basically without fear of them attacking you back. So I'm going to do some initial moves just to get this game going. I'll show you really quickly. If I push out a force to the gray hexes, I can still engage. If I push them out to the green, I believe that I cannot engage because I think I'm like pushing my guys too hard at that point. Pretty sure that's how it works. Again, I don't know everything about this game. I have played it quite a few times, but I'm still learning at the same time. So I'm just going to push my guys hard over here. They're basically, my intent is I'm going to have them make a run at this hill up towards the top. These guys over here, I'm going to push them out as fast as I can as well, as far up as they can up north. And basically, once I go through and I make all the moves that I want to for this turn, that will basically end my turn. You have to manually end your turn though. And you don't have to make movements, but so this is going to be the first lesson right here. When I click on this this team right here, in the top right hand corner, I can see what the troops' capabilities are. So basically, I can see they have a machine gun, they have 4 individuals, you know, they have this ULTV with M27s, a law, and I can even dismount if I want. So if I right click them, I can dismount them, and now it's just men on the ground with M27s, laws, and 40 mics. So I mount them back up because I don't want to dismount them. But second lesson is, because I click on this team and their field of view has this enemy in zone, I can engage the enemy right now from their position. Now, if I zoom in on the enemy, I can actually see that I have a 10% hit rate if I were to fire at them right now. So the likelihood of me getting a successful hit on them is 10%. So I'm actually going to take that right now just to show you what it looks like, because if I can successfully get a hit, I would suppress that enemy and I could maneuver my other elements onto them without fear of them getting hit as well. So I'll show you what that looks like. Basically, you just click on it. If you can see them, there's a percentage chance. You just choose which one you want to engage. So, alright, that's a miss. So no dice on that one. I'm going to maneuver this team up a little bit more. Okay, that actually dropped my hit percentage, but I'm still going to engage anyways, just for the heck of it. And I'm going to maneuver this team up, see if they can still see. So there's really no disadvantage to engaging with your teams, because for the most part these people, like, they're all going to have ammunition to sustain them for this amount of battle. It's not like this is like days worth that's being simulated. It's more like a couple of, like, maybe an hour or a couple of hours. But you don't want to go willy-nilly when it comes to your artillery support. You have a very limited quantity when it comes to that, so you have to be much more, stringent with how you want to enable that. So now that I've used all my forces, I've pushed everybody, everybody's made moves, it's basically the end of my turn. So I will click end turn down here in the bottom left, and then what you'll see happen is if the enemy wants to make any movements, or if they want to attack me, they will do so as soon as I hit end turn. So I'm going to keep it zoomed out on this one because I don't think they're actually going to attack me, but they may maneuver some of their forces, push some forces down, something like that. We'll see what happens. Okay. Chinese artillery support no longer available. Okay, so they didn't really do anything. I'm sure that north on the map, basically in the areas that I can't see right now, they're probably making movement. I just can't see it yet. I'm almost positive they're probably reinforcing from the north. So now, start of turn 2, I'm just going to push these guys up as fast as I can just to kind of show. I want to try and get into a gunfight basically just for the purposes of this. Not really worried about winning this match, but I just want to push people up so that I can show the different capabilities and what battle looks like at certain points during this game. Alright, so I effectively killed one of the enemies down here, but basically I'm going to show you that I'm going to maneuver on this element up here. And so this is a good example of how the terrain, kind of affects how you shape the battlefield. So what it looks like from right here is I can't really see anything because these guys are on the other side of the crest of this mountain. So this would be the crest based on how this terrain is looking. So I can't see them unless I go over the crest. So I can position my troops as close as I possibly want to without crossing over that. Once I cross over that, they're going to be able to see me. So I'll push my 50 cal team up there to basically crest that hill, and you'll see that they'll probably engage me and possibly suppress me, but I'll do it just for showing you. Yeah, so pushed them over. As soon as they got over that hill, the MAW team destroyed that 50 cal team. So that kind of shows you basically how terrain can work to your disadvantage possibly too. So if I push this SAW team up to right here, chances are they can see me as well, and they'll probably engage me as well. So we'll see. Okay, so no engagement, but I will engage them. Alright, nothing. I'm going to push my MAW team around the side of this hill. I'm going to start engaging. Nothing again, kind of striking out. And I'm very hesitant to push my Javelin team up there, but okay. Man, alright, no dice. Sometimes you don't hit. It is what it is. So I'm going to end my turn right now. I'm on the end of turn 5. I'm going to end it, and I'm going to stay zoomed in on this area to see if these troops maneuver or try and attack my troops that are down here, just to show you what it looks like. So yes, you can see they're attacking, maneuvering on my elements. In the top left-hand corner, you can actually see like all the different things that are happening. But yeah, no real successful hits on my guys, which is good. Alright, so of note right now, my artillery is now online. In the right-hand corner, you can see artillery strike. If I click on that button, I see I have a JLTV that's off the map area, and I have basically I have indirect fires that can assist me. So artillery has a really good hit percentage usually, 44 and 39. That's actually kind of low, but pretty good chances of destroying something if I'm using artillery. So I basically, in real life, I would just look around the map and see what I have high hit percent chance on, but also what I'd be worrying about is what is the most worthy opponent to be hitting with it. So like I'm not going to hit a SAW team with artillery. I just don't care about that. But I would consider hitting something like a tracked vehicle. So these are all mechanized vehicles. I'm going to take an artillery shot at that because that is totally worth my time. So again, here another like LAV style kind of vehicle. I'm going to send artillery against that, because what I don't want is them to be maneuvering on my, my thin-skinned vehicles, my JLTVs or ULTVs with, fire teams inside of them. So my Javelin team can probably take out this other one when it gets a little bit closer. So I will just start engaging people around the battlefield and shaping it how I want. I'm not going to go through the entire game. I am probably just going to leave it right here. You can kind of see everything that you need to as far as how to play the game. I can maneuver anywhere I want, get better positioning, engage. It is what it is. You do what you want with it. It's a fun game. It's good to kind of just test some different tactics and just kind of learn about these different systems, maybe what their capabilities are. So yeah, I think each one of these hexes, if I remember correctly, talking to the CEO that is in charge of HexWar, in charge of this game, and he said that I believe each one of these hexes represents 100 meters, because current weapon systems are so technically advanced and so accurate. So each one of these hexes is about 100 meters, so it's a pretty big map. But that is HexWar's Company Commander, which will be the first game inside of the Marine Corps University Wargaming competition this year, starting in September and running for a period of 2 months. So if you are an officer or a staff NCO or anybody that is inside of the PME continuum right now and you have access to the MCU Wargaming Cloud and you're going to be competing, this is a very quick tutorial on how to work Company Commander. Hopefully it was useful and you got something out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, comment on here, or the easiest way of getting in contact with me is to go and follow the Quantico Warfighting Society Instagram page, which is where I push out all my content, and I'm active every single day on there. So hopefully this was useful, and see you later.